What's going on, everybody? It's Eli Doyle back here again, hosting Pick Fiends. It's episode 5. We got a lot of things to cover. Today was the first day at the time of recording, March 3rd. Today was the first day of the NFL Combine. We saw some quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends run. We did some recording while that was going on. We missed some stuff, came out afterwards, obviously. But I had 2 recurring guests for the first time together, Richie, Bentz, and Daulton. Good conversation. Covered some basic news too that happened in the past week in the NFL. Covered some basketball with Luke Joyce, first time guest, not to be confused with Luke Stoner. Both Celtics fans. They have that they both have big heads physically and metaphorically. Had a great conversation, honestly wowed me a little bit. Pushed me. He was more ready than I expected. I don't know why I didn't expect him to be, but he pushed me a little bit. I'm going to jump in, talk some UFC, and give you my golf bet for the weekend. But before I do, I would just like to do a little protest here. It's nothing against the Phillies personally. It's against Major League Baseball and the fact that they now had like 6 months or something to get this deal done. They waited till the last 10 days to really ramp it up, blah, blah, blah. They didn't get it done. They canceled the first week. Can't represent. Won't stand for it. Can't stand for it. Sorry. We'd rather a logo representing more fair and balanced, respectable business. Like Yingling, no free ads. But we're going to jump right into the UFC. UFC 272 will be this weekend, March 5th. Yep, March 5th. It's UFC 272, Masvidal, Covington, and there's a lot of bad blood in this fight. These two go back a long time. There's stories everywhere. Every news outlet that's covering this is talking about how they used to both train under Dan Lambert. I guess he didn't pay so well, or he didn't pay so well. Covington never paid Dan Lambert his money, but yada, yada, yada. He doesn't like him. He thinks he's a scumbag. It's a Masvidal point of view. Covington claims Masvidal is a liar, and, he's going to kill him. He's going to trash him in this fight, blah, blah, blah. I won't jump right into that. I'll cover some other fights. It's going to be a good card. Obviously, we have a great main event. But let me jump into the first fight of the night. Sergey Spivak and Greg Hardy. It's a tough one. The fair bet, honestly, is for this one not to go 3 rounds. Okay, if you're picking up one down, they're both heavy hitters. They're both maybe a little weaker in the chin. I don't mean weaker in the chin. I believe they both have been knocked out on record now. So look for it to end in knockout, basically. Don't overthink it. The line right now has Sergey at -195 as the front runner to win. And then obviously the dog is Greg Hardy at +165. It's really 50-50 in my head. I don't think either guy has a big reach on the other or anything like that's going to crazy distort the fight. Take your pick between the two, but my pick would be for it to end in knockout or to go under 2.5 rounds would be my pick for it. Not really educated too well on the other fights on this card. We had Kevin Holland and Alex Oliveira. Kevin Holland is the biggest favorite on the night over Alex Oliveira at -350 to Alex Oliveira's +270. I've seen people say to look for this to end by knockout. I don't really know anything about either of these two besides their records are both kind of iffy. Coin flip. Obviously, the line is saying Kevin Holland, but it's the fight game. It's a coin flip. Maybe take everybody else's suggestion and go knockout. That's fine. I'm not going to give you a pick on that respectfully because I don't know anything about it. Next one is the fight that could possibly steal the night. Edson Barboza and Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell from the Contender Series, I think, or whatever whatever I'm blanking the UFC fight like show is he didn't win, but I mean he impressed so much that obviously he got a contract and he's had some fights under his belt, set some world on the fire, the UFC world on fire. He's the favorite -170 to Edson Barbosa's +150. If you know anything about Edson Barbosa, it is judo. He is not judo, jiu-jitsu. Excuse me, jiu-jitsu. He's very good. Bryce Mitchell is a very good wrestler as well. So we could really look at this fight to go maybe the distance, possibly. If I had to stamp something on it, I would say there to be a decision. Somebody will win by decision. Take your pick as to who it is. The line's pretty close, but I would say there would be a decision been made. I think both competitors have that edge enough in them to go the distance as long as they've trained enough for it and everything else, yada, yada, yada. But the next fight, I know really next to nothing about. Rento Moicana versus Rafael dos Anjos. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but close in odds, -180. Rafael to Renato's +155. Another thing, don't really know anything about it from what I've read. Another one that could possibly go the distance. If I had to slap something on it, that's what it would be. And then we move into the main event of the night. The biggest, the second biggest, I guess, favorite next to Kevin Holland. But Colby Covington is -335 compared to Masvidal's +260. Okay, and let me explain to you why. Let me give you the short recap. Both these men have fought Kamaru Usman in the last 3 fights twice. Colby got the piss beat out of him one time, broke his jaw. It took a while to come back from. Didn't want to end the fight. It got ended early. In like the 3rd or 5th round, like later, it got ended early. So not a great one. And then obviously Covington had the big one where he scored the first ever takedown on Usman, who's an alien, by the way. That's why he's the favorite so heavily, and he lost by decision to him. So that that looks really good compared to Masvidal the last time he stepped in. The first time went to decision, Usman won. Masvidal held his own, looked pretty good. But the second one, Masvidal was talking a big game about he's going to knock him out, and he's trained for this, blah, blah, blah. And he got knocked out pretty bad in the early second round, if I recall. But here's one thing you have to know about King Bread and Street Judas, whatever you want to call him, the baddest motherfucker, Jorge Masvidal. Here's the one thing you have to know about him is that he can knock you out at any time with his fist, with his elbow, with his forearm, with his knee, with his shoulder, with his head, with his foot, with his heel. He can do it. Him and Derrick Henry are probably Derrick Lewis are probably the resident knockout artists of the UFC. With respect to Tai Tuivasa and obviously all the other greats like John Jones and other there's some other guys that can really throw hands around there. Don't get me wrong, but another one that I would bet to end early because Covington can throw. Don't get me wrong, he's not just a wrestler, but he's going to look to wrestle. I would not expect this to go. I think is it 5 rounds? I kind of think this fight is 5 rounds. I could be wrong. Don't. Let me look. I don't necessarily quote me on that yet. But yeah, 5 rounds. This is a 5-round fight. I could definitely see it not going 5 rounds to a decision because a lot of people might argue that it could because they know each other so well and they've trained for so long together. But I really think that bad blood is there to the point where one of them has to get knocked out. And I think it's that simple. Okay. And we'll wrap up here with UFC. And all in one, we'll jump right to the Arnold Palmer Invitational. I believe is this coming. It probably honestly kicked off today. If I know correctly, I think it might have kicked off today. I should text my brother because he was down there in Florida at it and was walking around today. I saw around the course. But yeah, this weekend we have the Arnold Palmer Invitational coming up. And I hit last week on my bet with Chris Kirk to finish top 10. This week I got a little ballsier, put him out there a little bit more, and I went with a top 5 pick, and I went with Rory McIlroy. And the reason I went with Rory is because obviously he has the credibility factor, where he's been to the dance, so to say, before of winning, tourneys and stuff. But I saw he was a heavy favorite. Whew. Yeah, drink. But I saw he was a heavy favorite, and why not? Everybody loves the everybody loves the cult classic kind of character that's done it before, that it goes and does it again, lights it up. So it's not like I need him to win it all either. You know what I mean? Just top 5 finisher, plus 290. That's my pick. Rory McIlroy, plus 290, top 5 finisher. And hope we have a great weekend. Hope we win some bets here, bud. We could all use a couple wins in our lives, right? Am I right? But next we're going to move into NBA. So now we're going to welcome on Luke Joyce, first time on. Excited to have him. We're going to talk a little NBA, a little what's going on right now. And first things first, he's a Celtics fan. Must be something with the name Luke and people that want to actually come on this podcast. But yeah, we just got a bunch of Celtics fans around. But go ahead and just give me the perspective. I'll tell you what we're gonna say. The Eastern Conference is just absolutely loaded right now. You know what I mean? From like the Heat up top to like I don't know who's fluttering around 5-6 right now. Sixers, Bulls, something like that. Who's that?
Celtics in there.
Your microphone's cutting out a little bit again.
Nice.
Should be okay.
No.
No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Yeah, the Celtics are in there. Toronto
Yep.
Raptors.
Absolutely. But what do you think about when we're starting to push the playoff picture, like the Eastern Conference? Obviously we're going to see maybe some upsets. Maybe not in. I'm not necessarily just saying at the top, but like the Heat. You know what I mean? But even those lower seeds, like I think we're more prone to see an upset than the Western Conference, where it's kind of top heavy, where with the Warriors, the Jazz, that kind of thing.
Definitely. I feel like right now the crazy thing is Brooklyn's an 8 seed, and
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
they're kind of bouncing around. It's like, are they going to get guys back? I mean, even with KD, I think they're still, that's a tough matchup for any team.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a team like the Bulls, who I know they haven't been able to stay healthy really at this point in the season. And I mean, a lot of teams are battling injuries right now in the Eastern Conference. Like you said, it's been crazy up and down, but I just feel like that's a tough matchup. I wouldn't want, if I'm a
I would
Celtics
not want to
fan,
play the Bulls.
I don't want the Bulls. I'm a Celtics fan. I don't want the Nets as the first round series. Cause I mean, even if you win that series, the wear and tear that playing a series against Kevin Durant, playing a series against someone like that, puts on you. Setting up for that next series is kind of crazy to think about.
And obviously nobody wants to see the Bucks in the first round, but somebody's going to have to.
No.
But you can go ahead and give me your opinion now on the Celtics. They were hot. What are they, like 10 of their last 12 or something?
10 of their last 12, yeah. I feel like I'm not ready to say that they're a championship contender.
Of course. It's way too early for anybody that's not the Suns or the Bucks to say they're a championship contender.
100%. And I feel like they're a team where also I wouldn't want to play. Like, that's like, we're talking about how crazy loaded the East is. Like, there's teams like, I mean, we're going to talk about it later, but I mean, in the Western Conference, you're a 2 seed, you're a 3 seed. You're feeling okay about playing some of those teams towards the bottom that might come into the play-in tournament.
Absolutely.
I don't know if anyone in the East can say, well, we're trying to set ourselves up so we play this team, because I wouldn't want to play any of them.
Yep.
And I think the Celtics fall into that category of a team you don't want to play.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. And if you want to go ahead and give me your perspective on the West, then, I mean, West is a little harder to talk about because there's not as many teams pushing. Like I said, we have the Jazz, we have the Suns, we have the Warriors, and then it's kind of iffy. But if the what I should say, are there any futures you're looking at, like, or maybe not futures bets, but like anything in perspective, even tonight? Like, I know you said you had something.
Tonight, I'm a big fan of if you're big on betting the first basket scorer, Marcus Smart for the Celtics tonight. They usually run a set right out of rip for Jaylen Brown. With him being out, sometimes it slides to Marcus Smart, trying to get him going early. So I mean, I would definitely check in on that one. I'm assuming it's probably pretty good odds coming into tonight.
Let me tell you, every time I bet the Celtics, they lose. I don't know why, but every time, or they just can't cover. That's what I should say. It's not that they lose. They just can't cover to save their lives, it feels like. Every time. I don't bet them often, but when I do, just can't cover, man. And it drives me insane.
Yeah, no, I never bet them. I kind of tend to feel the same way. Whenever I bet them to win or bet them, to cover, that just never seems to happen.
And if we're going to keep talking about the East and betting here, a lot of people are betting long-term on the Sixers right now. A lot of promos going around on sports books. There's a lot of overreaction. Like we said earlier, there's no reason any team should be, besides the Bucks or the Suns, maybe, no team should be looking at themselves right now and say, yeah, we have a smooth road to the NBA Finals. Like, that's insanity. I mean, no. I'm a Sixers fan. The Harden trade, let me tell you why there's so much hype behind the Harden trade. Because we've never just had a guard like this for how long? Like, we've never had a guy in the front court that could just it's just everything. Like last night's game. So we're recording this on the 3rd. Last night's game on the 2nd against the Knicks. They had a sloppy first quarter, but the shit that Maxey was doing was just insane. He hit Harden's little step back. He hit a turnaround. He lost his dribble and just faded away kind of to the corner and just nailed it. Like, it was just insanity. The shit he does. He's just opening up space. Like, that's it. That's honestly all it is. Because the Ben era was just filled with like I don't want to say it wasn't all good times, you know what I mean? Because Ben's obviously a top 5 transition player. Like, and I'm not shitting on him by saying transition player. Like, I mean, if you give that guy the ball in like going down court, he's tough to stop. Like, and I honestly think there's really, like, besides LeBron, of course, because LeBron's been doing it forever, Giannis, and then like who else? Once you get going, like, can you really say, man, that guy's hard to stop? Like, Ben Simmons, truly, he's in there with like KD and Giannis and LeBron.
And he's a great passer. He's a great passer.
Absolutely, and he plays defense well. It's just that whole scoring thing. Like, it's just so nice to have a guy in the front court that could just do all this shit. You know what I mean? That can do everything. I mean, Harden gets. I mean, not that Ben didn't, but he gets rebounds, and it's a sense of like he's a shooter getting a triple double. Like, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like Ben got triple doubles here and there. It wasn't crazy, but like it was hard. Like, it had to be the right circumstances, and we didn't always win. Like, that's the thing. Harden's doing this, and we're winning. You know what I mean? So, and granted, it's against the Knicks. You know?
Yeah. No. And like I've been watching. I mean, Sixers fans. You're a Sixers fan. Philly sports fans. I mean, they're king. They're king of the.
Overreaction.
We won a couple games, bang, put the ring on our finger, and it's like we were talking about. There are so many teams that the Sixers don't want to play. I mean, they don't want to play the Bucks in the first round.
Absolutely.
And it's a possibility.
Absolutely.
Like, and I think they're a really, really, really good basketball team, and I think that the biggest thing, I'm a firm believer that the biggest thing for the Sixers isn't going to be Harden and Harden and Embiid, because in the NBA, I mean, what is stopping a guy? What is stopping a guy on offense? Like, if Harden goes for his 25 and Embiid goes for his 25, I mean, NBA teams are basically accounting for that. It's those other guys, and a guy like Maxey stepping up like this. If this, like, he continues to do this into the playoffs, I think the sky's the limit for them as a team.
And it's more of an excuse to get rid of Tobias. That's what it is.
Oh no, 100%. I think he's a candidate to be an off-season destination. Look,
I like Tobias too. He only plays well when he needs to. I feel like that's how I feel about his tenure.
Yeah, and I mean, he's like, I don't know what he does. I mean, he's another guy though they're gonna need in the playoffs. Absolutely. To put points up, to score the basketball, to rebound, to do those things, and he can do it. He needs to do it. I mean, I'm a firm believer that you win games. Individual players can win you games in the playoffs, but you need role guys to step up to win series in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I think the Sixers are going to need that.
And let me talk about a team here to kind of put a bow on all this. A team that doesn't have any role players, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Huh.
What is the opinion on that shit show out west?
I mean, we saw it the other night. Like, if anybody watched that game the other night against the Pelicans, I mean, I was sitting there. That had to be one of the worst basketball games in the first half, and I didn't even watch the second half that I've ever seen in my entire life. And the body language. I mean, everybody's saying the body language.
God.
But you could
Oh my
see
God.
it. I mean, guys weren't cheering for anybody. Guys weren't helping anybody out. It was crazy.
I'll tell you what worries me as a Sixers fan signing DeAndre Jordan today is like one of the only things I saw about that Pelicans Lakers game was DeAndre turning it around and got an impact and just launched the ball like 17 rows up. Like it wasn't even close, dude. It's like that video of that Knicks guy. I think it was Julius Randle from like half court. He just throws it with one hand. It's like it goes over. It wasn't even close, dude.
That
It was so bad. That's what worries me about bringing him in now. But yeah, Willie Cauley-Stein, is he even a real player anymore at this point? Like. Get him out, Free Willy. But no, is there anything else you have the floor here?
No, I mean, I think that it's gonna be I think this year is going to be a great Eastern Conference playoff series. I think you're going to see a lot of series go very deep. I don't think it's going to be, the top team sweeping the 8th seed to start it off. I even think that series will end up being a 6 or 7 game series, maybe depending on who's in those roles. So
let me ask you something, because I have a good feeling you'll be a reoccurring guest. What do you have a prediction or anything for like maybe not a bet, but like do you have a prediction for down the line? Maybe a NBA Finals or something.
I don't know if I'll go finals yet, just because all the injuries that are kind of occurring right now. But I do, as long as they
give me your conference. Give me your conference final team.
I could see. As long as the teams fall in the right spot, I could see a Sixers Celtics Eastern Conference Final.
Mm-hmm. And then give me like hypothetically, of course, because it has to match up.
Hypothetically, the Suns get their guys back, and I could definitely see a Suns and Golden State Warriors Western Conference Final. I know the Warriors, same thing. They got to get their guys back. They need Draymond back. They're a different team with him on the floor, and I'm taking the experience with them over. They catch a team like Denver in the first round. Denver's a good basketball team, and I think they're going to get healthy and get better. But I don't know if they'll be. They don't have that championship pedigree. I can't bet against guys that have been there at this point.
That's fair. So go ahead and throw out your bet again for tonight. Obviously, hold on. Obviously, it's the third when we're betting this. This episode probably won't come out till tomorrow.
Correct. Marcus Smart, first basket scorer for the Celtics.
Fair enough. Marcus Smart, first basket scorer for the Celtics. Who are they playing? Grizzlies?
Memphis tonight.
Yep. Memphis Grizzlies on March 3rd. All right. So it'll be March 4th when this comes out, but you'll have to look back one day. I'll put it on Twitter. I'll have it all done up and everything for you. But I appreciate your time, Luke. I hope you come back sometime. Yeah, no problem.
I definitely will. Great.
All right. Yeah, I'll see you. All right. So now I'm gonna welcome on to reoccurring guests. First time they're together on the show. Both, like I said, have been on before. We have Richie Bentz and Daulton Mates. Their users will be below down here in Twitter. We're going to talk some NFL news, mostly some draft news. The Combine today, at the time of recording, this is March 3rd, like I've previously mentioned in the episode already. This will, obviously when I put this out, it won't be March 3rd. It'll be the 4th. So the first day of the Combine will have been wrapped up. It was quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends. We're going to talk what we saw. But first, we're going to jump in. I have some news. Like I said, most of this stuff I get from other websites, what I deem reliable and firsthand interviews and stuff like that. So firsthand interviews. Bruce Arians was doing a lot of firsthand interviews for the Buccaneers because they have a big gap to fill with Brady retiring. They were asking him the possibility of these big quarterbacks possibly getting traded like Russ and Aaron Rodgers. He quickly shot that down. And I didn't think it was a big thing at the time, but then the Rappaports and the Schregers and the Schefters, they were all reporting that in bold capital letters and stuff. So I guess it is a big deal. So moral of the story is it sounds like from an inside perspective, these high-end quarterbacks aren't going to be dealt. A guy that will likely be dealt by the maybe not the beginning of the new season, but during the draft possibly, or definitely before the season starts, Atlanta Falcon wide receiver Calvin Ridley. There's been a lot of like places thrown out possibilities, maybe because of whatever Alabama connections, but whatever, coach connections, stuff like that. I guess he missed most of the season with, if I'm not correct, mental health issues. I don't think it was anything like super, super bad on this, whatever this super, super bad would be mental health wise. I think it was more just he wasn't committed to playing, that kind of thing. Like he was, more deciding whether or not to keep going football wise. But it sounds like he's going to be dealt. Sounds like he is coming back. So I guess that's good news. Bad news for the league, for the Buccaneers specifically. Ali Marpet retired. I don't know if we should have saw this coming. There was kind of that thing at the end of the season where he was in and out and in and out and in and out. But yeah, kind of shocked by it, but not necessarily shocked in the grand scheme of the NFL because, players have retired early. I think he was 28, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 28.
28. Other big news, maybe we'll hop to Twitter here. There's a funny tweet. Bill's GM Brandon Bean, he brought up the idea that of Mitch Trubisky's character being one that is so phenomenal that he let him date his daughter, and this has brought a lot of callback to a Mitch Trubisky tweet that went viral before he got drafted. I'll have that down below. I believe it said, "I love kissing titties." Not
nice.
definitely not bad in like the scheme of what normally gets dug up for these draft guys on draft night. But yeah, it's just funny. Years later, we see that kind of come into play in matchup. More GM tweets. Chris Ballard went in depth on the Colts roster and their upcoming season. He was asked the idea of the quarterback and who's going to be starting next year. Will be Carson Wentz coming back, and he was very not committed. Let's just say that his word and his verbiage was very not committed to. He was definitely had that premeditated answer. He knew where he was stepping. He didn't even name Wentz, I don't think, in the whole little interview at all. But that's just really a wrap up from outside of football. From the analyst perspective, Troy Aikman signed a deal that was, if not more than Tony Romo's CBS deal, it was close to it. And he signed with, was it ESPN? Because he was at Fox. Yeah, it was ESPN.
Yeah.
Yep. Not really surprising. I think more people were surprised that he didn't sign with Amazon now that they're getting Thursday Night Football, but not surprised.
Do Monday night now?
I don't know what the schedule is of football up to date right now, but yeah, I guess. And they don't necessarily have a partner for him yet, and they don't necessarily have a partner for Buck over on Fox still. So a lot of people, there's been the idea that Buck may jump contract and do, because he already does ESPN baseball or whatever, right? I think.
Yeah, he does.
I think that's what he does, ESPN baseball. So the that was already floated, the idea of him jumping with him, but there's obviously a bunch of other guys that have been floated around. And then the other big rumor around the analyst world is Daulton's buddy Dan Orlovsky's deal is coming up with ESPN, and he's another guy that there's been some talk of like possibly getting more of a booth role. I mean, he's talked about it kind of here and there that he wants to do more than just sit behind a desk at ESPN, which and if that's what he wants to do, if he wants to go back and they give him promotion and stuff, that's fine. But yeah, I think we've seen the trend of guys going and doing it on their own and getting these high-end kind of jobs. Yeah. Once they make it and stuff. I mean, they've already made it. He's on ESPN every day, but I wouldn't be surprised if he signs somewhere to either be on television more predominantly, or I wouldn't necessarily be like pushed off if he ends up coaching. Like I know UConn has a new head coach, and I think it's one of the Moras. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up there, or even maybe jump at the college or a high end, like really high end Division I. I don't think he'd get into that role like down in the SEC and the Power Fives, but maybe there definitely is a possibility that he could be coaching in the NFL. I mean, he's talked about it. That's the only thing. I mean, it's hard for those guys to just get a first-time job, but I think he's talked about it so much that there would be, I think there would be coaches comfortable with bringing him in because he's not that old. You know what I mean? Like he was only in the league. He was in the league like 10 years ago or something like that. You know what I mean? So he's not that removed. But yeah, that's really it with the news portion of the NFL. Unless you guys have anything to add. No,
I don't think so.
So we'll jump right into the draft and specifically the combine, the first day of it today. We have news, I guess, in the form of the sports books and kind of the draft insiders have flipped on Hutchinson going 1. Now, this is obviously days before anybody even has done anything at the combine, but yeah, I think it is flipped. It is now Evan Neal was like minus 110 on most sports books to go number 1 now, which makes sense because the Jaguars could possibly, could really use. I'm not saying they couldn't use an edge rusher, but they absolutely could use a tackle. I don't know what that changes in the grand scheme of who moves where, but like a big thing for me before we jump into players and stuff, a big thing for me was I had the idea of if Hutchinson went 1, what does Detroit really value drafting an edge rusher at 2? Because Thibodeau is dropping, right? So his stock has kind of dropped a little bit to the point where maybe he'll even be around at like 7, So you have a bunch of teams that need tackles. Your team, Richie, the Giants could definitely use a tackle, and everything would align in my head for them to make a splash move to move up in the draft because they're in a cap situation that isn't so easily to get out of, like maybe like the Cowboys or the Packers or the Saints, where they're just front loaded with money next year and they can spread it out. The Giants have a lot of guys towards the end of their contracts where they can't move that money as much, and they have money still guaranteed on there that they need to pay them. And that's where their cap situation runs out. So they need to move some of those guys to create that space. And also at the same time, like they would benefit from bringing one of these top tier tackles in from the draft. So I just see that as a win. And they have the draft capital to do it, of course. They have 2 first-round picks. I don't know what else they're looking at. But I know they have the Bears pick, which is up there, and obviously their own is pretty far up there. But for you guys, is there a clear-cut 1? Is it Evan Neal? Is it?
I think it's got to be Evan Neal.
You think it's Evan Neal? You don't think the
I
Michigan
think
man himself?
no matter what.
No, and that makes sense because then at 2, Detroit naturally probably takes Aiden Hutchinson, right?
Yeah.
I'm not like there are probably other positions people can argue that they need more. But I think edge rusher is definitely a spot on their, to-do list. So I think, and then who would be 3? Who's picking 3? That's Tennessee or
Texans.
That's what I mean. I always mess that up. Yeah. The Texans, Houston Texans. Nothing jumps out to me. Another team that could use a tackle, which makes sense for the Bears to kind of move up, or not the Bears, the Giants with the Bears pick to move up, to a team that may want to move back and get more, picks.
Maybe an edge rusher, maybe.
Yeah, I definitely, and like I said, I think it's a little early for a receiver to go. Who else are the predominant players that maybe aren't a tackle or an edge rusher that could push top 5 like that?
See, like a couple months ago, I probably would have said Stingley, but now I see Sauce Gardner climbing the boards even over him. So now I don't even think Stingley goes top 5.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anything out of you, Rich? No.
Honestly, man, maybe a wide receiver there for the Texans because they don't have a strong group. I think it's too high though to take one there because there's so many of them.
There are so many, and like I said, that might be a spot where the Giants necessarily might need to call and say, I mean, the problem with the Giants trading them is I think they need a tackle just as much as the Giants need a tackle. It sounds like they're getting rid of Tunsil too. So they definitely need to bring in a tackle. But yeah, I think everything's kind of on the table there. Who do we have at 4? Because I mean, this is, obviously 3 will decide who 4.
The Jets got 4.
The Jets. Ooh, that's tough too.
I need a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say what I said earlier. I really hope Kyle Hamilton doesn't end up there. I really hope.
Dude.
He's really good.
He is really good, and I think he's going to end up there because Bob Saleh is a defensive guy. I think and he's not at the draft or the combine, so I'm sure he'll be at the draft. But he's not at the combine. So
they drafted Adams a couple of years ago, right? Then they get rid of him.
Yeah, a little bit back, but they made up pretty good because they have another pick this year from Seattle.
Yeah,
from that deal. So they're sitting pretty. They're a team that could possibly move up if they want to. I think they'd be a team more likely to move back and acquire more draft capital. But that's just me. I could see them taking Hamilton though. Definitely can see them. I don't know what their tackles look like.
They got.
They have Mikan, right? Isn't he a tackle?
Becton.
Yeah.
Becton.
He had knee problems, right? Didn't he tear his knee up pretty bad?
Injured.
Yeah.
They drafted Mara Tucker last year as a guard, so I think they still need another tackle no matter what.
Yep, could be plausible. We see another tackle go. Could be plausible. We see an edge rusher go. Again, Thibodeau's always just sitting out there. Are there any other? Like I said, are there any other? So now that we're pushing out at top 5, who is 5 then? Is it the Giants?
Yeah.
Is that the Giants pick or is that the Bears pick?
That's the Giants.
Okay. Not that means anything. It's the Giants pick anyway now, but like I said, that's another team, offensive line, edge rusher, kind of ordeal. So I think it's going to be jam-packed in there. I think that top 5, I think we're going to see 3 tackles go.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's far-fetched. Who's sitting at 6? Panthers, another team could see it. This is going to be a frenzy up there for offensive linemen. I'm telling you.
Maybe a quarterback, dude. Maybe a quarterback.
It's going to be.
And I think
no, I think that's way too early for one of those guys to go.
If Evan Neal and Equanu go top 4, I think you see some of these tackle needy teams start trading back.
Yep. Nope. That's fair to say. Like I said, all these teams like the Panthers or the Jets could all use more picks because they're pretty, depleted. It feels like in terms of good players. Yeah. Way to sum it up there, Rich.
Shitty.
Yeah. Anyway, who's sitting at 7 then?
Giants
again? And that's the Bears pick, right?
Pick.
So obviously they're not going to take 2 offensive linemen. So they're taking offensive linemen, edge rushers, feels like, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, they're probably going to move a wide receiver this offseason. Would you say that's far-fetched, Richie?
No, they have to.
Do you think – let me ask you the big one. Do they move Saquon Barkley?
Sadly, I think they're going to have – yeah, they're not going to have to, but I think they will.
Well, let me tell you why. I could see them moving him from a business side because they're going to – isn't this his option year? So they're probably paying him a crap ton of money.
Yeah, this is I think they can – I didn't really get into it too much yet because I'm so sad they even look at it Saquon.
Yeah, this would be his 5th-year option year because I think he was drafted in 18.
Yeah, because obviously Baker didn't get picked up and he's a free agent. So
so sad, man.
Baker's free agent right now coming up.
That would be a smart reason for the Giants to maybe move from him because obviously they don't want to pay him that kind of money, but they did cut Devontae Booker. Mm-hmm. And I think the likelihood that Evan Ingram gets traded just went way down because they
hate the guy. I hate that guy. He's got to go. I hate him. I hate him so much.
But they just cut Kyle Rudolph though.
Yeah.
So I doubt you move 2. You know what I mean?
You got to keep him. They keep one of them.
I think who they cut or not cut. I think who they end up trading from the receiver room is going to be Slayton because I think he's going to be the easiest guy to move.
That's
get one guy out of there.
Funny you mentioned that because I saw whose mock draft was it came out today. They had the Giants moving up to pick a tackle. I forget who. I think it was the Texans they traded it with, and they sent Sterling Shepard in the trade. So
I think Sterling Shepard's who they're going to want to move because it makes sense. He's the oldest and has probably besides Galladay has the highest contract. But I think that contract's going to prevent Sterling Shepard from getting traded.
Mm-hmm. Nope, that's fair. Obviously, same ordeal with Galladay. Obviously, he's only been there for a year, but that contract is massive. Why is the eye roll, Rich?
Like how many? I don't think did he have a touchdown? I think he had one touchdown or no touchdowns for how much money?
No, he didn't. I'm gonna let you in. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Me and Daulton's right tackles had more touchdown receptions this year than him and your first round pick last year.
Him and Tony.
Yeah, combined. But we'll get past that. Who's sitting at like 8 then?
Falcons, baby.
The Falcons.
Gotta go defense here.
Who? I mean, anything. Gardner. I think you go best player available.
Yeah. Gardner
or Stingley. Now AJ Terrell had a really good season for them at corner. So
they go linebacker. What if you see
don't count out that Kyle Hamilton's not here. Don't count that out.
Oh, he's linebacker. Gone,
you think?
Oh yeah.
Well, who takes him if the Jets don't take him at 4? Who takes him in between there? So you have the Giants
Panthers,
twice and the Panthers.
Yeah, and
who are all I think looking edge rusher offensive linemen. So
dude, maybe the Jets too. The Jets too, man.
Well, I think the Jets could be there. But I think from the Jets, you have the Jets, Giants, who's in the middle there? Jets, Giants, Panthers, Giants again. All those teams are looking edge rusher, offensive linemen. So if enough of them go right there is what I'm saying, Hamilton's going to fall.
One of the corners might make it in the top 10 too.
And that's what I mean. That's another thing. Somebody might value a corner. Like you got to remember how teams are going to value positions factors into the pick. Now the Falcons are a special case because they should just draft best player available. Whoever their top guy is on the board, take them because their team sucks. Yeah, their team sucks. That's how you rebuild if you're going to do this long-term rebuild. I mean, they're paying Matt Ryan $50 million. He's the highest paid quarterback in the league on cap this year. So until at least Kirk Cousins signs.
Between Atlanta, Denver, and the Jets again here, I think one of the corners and one of the linebackers go to like two of these 3 teams. I think one of these linebackers after they run tomorrow, I think one of these linebackers are going to be shooting up boards.
That's do you have like are there particular linebackers you're looking at?
Devin Lloyd or Dean. I think whatever one shows like has a better combine, has better pro day, all that. I think it's gonna be honestly, I think it's gonna be Lloyd. I think Lloyd's the best, but could be Dean.
I like Lloyd. Yeah, it could be Dean too. I don't know. I don't see the Broncos taking a corner. Maybe a linebacker. I could see them doing that. I could, but then again, I've seen like a lot of edge rushers in this first round, like predictions. Like the guy they're comparing to Kerrigan, the white boy from I want to say
Karlaftis, is that dude?
Yep, that dude. Yep. Where'd he go to school? I want to say I don't know why I want to something screaming like Iowa or some shit at me. Iowa State. Something like that, whatever. Some maybe Midwest school, but yeah, I don't know. I just I could see them going edge rusher kind of thing.
Too.
Jabo's in there too, and that's what I mean. These edge rushers, offensive linemen are going to dominate like picks 3 to 10 possibly. Who's 9 and 10? Well, hold on. Let's go back to 2. I don't think the Lions are taking a tackle.
No, I think they're going to go. No,
they could go edge. They could go edge. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
no, I think they're going
to. So I think even 1 and 2, it's going to be Neal and Hutchinson. So it's.
I just think we know. I just didn't include them because we know who's going.
Yeah.
But we might not see a non-offensive lineman or defensive lineman go until 7, 8, 9, or 10.
Yeah, and then I think it's going to be
I don't even think
secondary
7 because that's
linebackers and
Giants,
stuff
right?
like that.
That doesn't happen.
All right, yeah. So 9, Denver, 10's Jets.
Oh shit, we're lacking diversity here. What did you say about Denver? I really don't see them taking as much as they should take it as a defensive player. I really don't see them taking one.
I think they have.
Yeah, with how good their
linebacker.
defense is, they could probably just wait.
I mean, I think it'd be crazy for them to take a wide receiver too, but who knows, man? Maybe they're the first team to snag a quarterback. Maybe they do it. That seems early. Like I don't see quarterbacks going in the top 10 this year.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Too early.
I think if nobody trades up, the Steelers are the obvious pick to pluck a quarterback like first at 16. Because like, what else do the Steelers really need to draft at whatever? What are they drafting? Somewhere from like 16 to like 22 or something like that.
They got 20.
20.
How about the Saints, man?
Quarterback?
Yeah, the Saints are at 18. Maybe that.
Yeah. Oh.
Won't be far fetched, I guess.
Whatever goes on. And then Minnesota and Cleveland are 12 and 13. Like those two still have to get things done regarding the quarterback situations there.
Yeah.
Washington
I don't
at
think
11. Maybe Washington goes quarterback at 11.
I don't think Cleveland takes one, but Washington, yes.
Cleveland does either.
Cleveland may take one down the line, like, first round now. No, I don't think anything like crazy, but I don't think we're gonna see anything crazy in the first round here. Like I said, not in the first round, in the first top 10 picks. I think we're gonna see a lot of like the same shit, as in like offensive linemen, edge rushers. I hope between Hamilton, Stingley, and Gardner, I hope one of them break 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Break it up a little bit. But who are we missing? Obviously, Dean and Lloyd are in there. But who else? Let's narrow down quarterbacks and receivers. What's the pecking order? Who's coming off the board first? Go quarterbacks. Because receivers there's a lot of depth there. Who's the first quarterback off the board?
Matt Corral.
Obviously, there was the huge report today at the time of filming about Pickett's hands. Listen, I'll give you a hot opinion on this. If you have to dig that deep to go after somebody's hand size, he must be pretty darn good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Off the board first.
I don't necessarily think he is. Daulton thinks Pickett's going.
No. I like that Malik guy too. I like Malik a lot.
I like Malik too.
I've seen but yeah, if I'm still a firm believer in all this Malik. I don't think the kid from Ole Miss, what was his name, Corral? I don't think he I don't think the hype has been there for him. I think if anybody's gonna pluck him out and grab him, mainly because of that whole ankle thing, I think it was all fine. I think he only sprained it, but in the bowl game. But if anybody's gonna pluck him, maybe Washington, probably not the Steelers. I think Pickett may end up on the Steelers, not because he's their first choice. You know what I mean? Because Washington or somebody plucks.
Because Malik's gonna go.
Yeah, maybe Malik or what's his name? Corral. Or I mean, I've seen Sam Howell getting a lot of like interviews and hype. I don't see anybody. Yeah, I don't see anybody taking a risk on him in the first round. Same with Carson Strong. Like, Jesus Christ. Nobody's drafting that guy in the first. Ritter, yeah, he really has to have like a crazy combine if he wants to go in the first round.
And a nice pro day too.
Yeah, but I don't even think and like I said, like by the time we put this out tomorrow, like somebody could have thrown really bad or something, like a quarterback, and they could fall, you know what I mean? Like, or Kenny could impress, maybe come off this small hand, conspiracy about him.
Yo, bro, watch out for Booth though, man. Watch out for my boy from Clemson, Booth, man. He's
quarterback.
I like Booth.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought their quarterback's last name was that was DJ.
No, Andrew Booth, baby. Watch out for him.
Oh, okay.
He's good.
Yeah, so on the wide receiver side of the offense, obviously pluck any name. I mean, there are so many, man.
Drake London.
Who?
Drake London goes first.
Drake London. I've seen that name a lot. I've still seen what's his name from Alabama get picked first in some places. Jameson. Yeah, Williams. I saw after his rehab videos and stuff. Obviously not going to run or do anything, And then obviously Mechie probably falls somewhere, maybe in the second, third.
Dude,
I don't know. That might be far fetched. Garrett
I
Wilson,
think it's
Olave. Yeah, there's a lot. There's talent. There is talent, man. That's for sure. Who's the kid from Arkansas?
Burks. Traylon
Burks. Yeah,
he's a beast.
But so is there any like combine news or anything on them?
Nah.
Is there anything? What?
Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave didn't run. I don't think those three ran.
Is there out of the guys that did run, or is there anything that may propel them? Nothing. No.
I'd say they're all pretty equal. They're all like right there.
I don't think anything's gonna propel anyone. I think everyone ran what they were gonna run. Like, I don't know why people thought Burks was running in the 4.4s. It wasn't gonna happen.
That's fair.
He's 4.5 guy.
Yeah. Nope. cough. Luke Joyce earlier on the show.
If you're watching, that's about you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we'll wrap this up. Any final thoughts on the draft? We'll start with Richie. Any early? So you're a Giants fan. What is your A? We'll wrap it up with this. I'll give you each a tough question. What is your A plus? Like your first two top 10 picks. What would be an A plus draft in the first two picks for the Giants?
Gonna have to go with, if you get Evan Neal, man, that'd be nice. And then maybe, honestly, dude, or I like Charles Cross, that guy too.
Okay, now obviously that's only one pick, because you're not going to take two offensive linemen.
All right, Kayvon then, edge from Oregon. I like him.
Thibodeau?
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good. That's not a bad idea. Now, are there any other so Evan Neal goes one. Obviously, you said you like Cross too. What about at Thibodeau? Is there any other you like an edge rusher? Are there any other ones that kind of spark
honestly,
you?
man, the best available
edge rusher,
edge or tackle. Man, whoever's gonna be there, take him because we need them. I'm all for seeing good wide receivers. I'm like someone draft a great wide receiver or something, but we just need to draft someone that's gonna be able to protect our quarterback. And get to the quarterback. So that's what I'm going at.
All right, Daulton, and this isn't your question, but you can answer it because I know you want to. Who's Dallas drafting?
I hope they draft. So this right now, this current scenario with Mari Cooper still on the roster, I want them to get Kenyon Green, the guard from A&M.
A&M, yeah.
That dude is a mauler. I'll be fine with Lindenbaum.
But what about what about what does Cooper change? Do you go wide receiver then?
Yeah, I wouldn't be okay now thinking current situation. It would be so dumb to draft a receiver. But if Cooper's gone and you don't sign a free agent that's can fill in, I'd say, yeah, I'd take any of the top 5 receivers. Being Drake London's not going to be there, Garrett Wilson's not going to be there, but I'll take Olave or Burks or Williams if he's there.
Mm-hmm. All right, now let me give you your tough question. What's up, Rich? Do you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, what do you think? Who do you think the Eagles are going to?
Who do you think the Eagles draft? All right, well,
who do you like?
Let me tell you who I think the Eagles like, and I'll get to that. Let me give Daulton his tough one here because we're short on time. But what do you think? Who is the first we talked about earlier, offensive lineman, edge rusher to go? Give me one name. Who's the first one? Because you have obviously that whole pool of guys. Who goes?
I think it's gonna be Hamilton.
Hamilton, that's fair. And then I'll give you my state of the Eagles draft. I don't think they're trading any of those 3 picks. I think Howie Roseman really wants to draft with all 3 of those picks. I think they draft. The obvious pick is they need an edge rusher too. He's been talking about it. Oh, you laughed. Good one. Been talking all week. Howie's been talking all week about it. The lack thereof edge rusher pressure on the quarterback last year without Brandon Graham. So I think that's obvious. I think then we take probably a corner because I don't see anybody in the middle there. So obviously someone's going to take Stingley or Gardner early. Probably 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't think anybody comes up to get another corner, and I don't think anybody in there is going to just take a corner like off the bat. So I would like to take one of those two, whichever one falls. Doesn't matter to me. That would be the 16, 17 back to back or whatever it is, 17, 18. I don't know. Off the top of my head. 16, 17.
15, 16.
15,
But
16, even better.
How about wide receiver there? Like,
Well, then we jump to the 21 slot, right? That's their last one, 21.
yeah.
Okay. So the 21
19.
or 19. Okay, 19. The 19 slot. So then we jump there, and then we have the option to take, if Linderbaum slides, obviously Jason Kelsey's retirement is impending in the next year at least. And then wide receiver, we could always dip back in. I wouldn't be mad if somehow we got Jameson. I wouldn't be mad if we got Garrett Wilson. I wouldn't be mad if we got Burks. But yeah, Linderbaum would be if he fell that far, that'd be awesome. Like 10 to 19. That would be my
If you guys
3
go
picks.
receiver, I don't think Olave is going to be in your consideration. Like if he's the best next available, because I think he's kind of just like a 2 guy. I think you guys want like a guy who's like.
We're looking for another guy to stand out. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
I don't think we're looking for a receiver necessarily this early in the draft, because I think we're going to sign one like a veteran. But I definitely think we're looking for a guy to stick out, if that means anything.
Mhm.
But
I think
yeah,
Olave is going to be like a sidekick kind of guy.
no, I get that. And that would make sense, I think, for if the Bears somehow could get their hands on him early in the second round, match him up with Fields again. I think that would be the best scenario. But what's up?
All right. So who's the best wide receiver in this combine?
That is not a question for me to answer. That is a question for you, educated. In my opinion, I think Jameson is the most talented. Now, obviously, he had the injury. What does that affect? If you take him out, I think it's Garrett is the best. Like that when you at the end of their career, like I think Garrett's the best. But yeah, those two would be mine. What's yours, Richie?
Let's go with Trey, man, or probably
Trey?
Yeah,
That's fair. What about you, Daulton?
My favorite's Garrett Wilson. I think London's going to go first, but I like Garrett Wilson the most.
All right. Well, anyway, here we'll finally actually wrap this up on this. Who's your favorite quarterback in the draft? Go ahead, Richie.
Man, I really don't even have a favorite. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, then just tell me who you think goes first then. I think we already covered that, but just go ahead with that answer.
Yeah,
That's your favorite.
Corral, and then right behind us, Pickett, man, one of those guys. I'd probably say Corral though. Corral.
How about you, Dawn?
Pickett, and then behind him, Wills.
All right, that's fair. I like all three. If I had to pick one, I'm gonna go with my Lane Kiffin guy, Corral. I think I don't necessarily think he's the best one of the three. I'm not gonna say that, but he's my favorite of the three. I just hope he doesn't go to Washington. So we'll wrap that up with that. Thank you for coming on. You know, we'll be back at it. There's a whole month until the draft, basically, so we got plenty of stuff to talk about.